So far I visited 21 cities in Russia, and all of them are different sizes, different number of inhabitants, and so on. And then came the question how to compare. And here's what I realized: everyone has their own preferences. Some prefer like megapolises, megacities like Moscow or Saint Petersburg. Some like mid-sized cities with 500,000 of inhabitants like Kaliningrad, while other enjoys cozy small towns with the population of 15k inhabitants like Sortavala, the city in Karelia. Therefore, comparing Moscow, Kaliningrad and Sortavala between each other is nonsense. Consequently, I divided the cities into the tiers based on the population. You can see the tiers that we will have today on the screen. And we will compare the cities between each other inside each tier, alright? Oh yeah, and tier 1, Moscow and Saint Petersburg will not be here. Everyone already knows about them, and other channel will cover them in their videos, and that's why you're watching Rodion Underworld travel blog for insights about such cities as Arkhangelsk, Yaroslavl, Ivanovo, Zelenogradsk, and so on. So let's take a look at these tiers and let's compare the cities within each tier. Alright, let's begin. And before we start, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to my Telegram channel. The content is posted on the platforms on a daily basis. And let's begin. As I mentioned before, there will not be tier 1 cities, Moscow and Saint Petersburg. So we will come straight forward to the second tier, the cities with the number of inhabitants more than 1 million. Top 1 is Nizhny Novgorod. If someone asked me to choose the best city out of all, I would pick this one, even if we compare it to Moscow and Saint Petersburg. It's not as large as tier 1 cities, but not small either. The infrastructure is well developed and there is a lot of to see, from the confluence of the Oka river and Volga rivers to its architecture. Tons of restaurants of all kinds. After all, Zhmurki, famous Russian movie, was filmed here. And it's a real argument, right? Major downside: there is only one metro station in the historical part of the city, which is underwhelming for such a large city. Would I live here? Yes. Top 2, Kazan. A beautiful million-plus city with the rich history, a mix of religions, and fascinating Tatar culture, from Tatar skullcaps to chak-chak, traditional dessert. Lots to see, from the temple of all religions founded by two iconographers. By the way, both of them are Tatars. To the Chak-Chak Museum. Many cool public spaces and restaurants, from Echpachpak, traditional pie, Tatar one, to Chak-Chak. Seems like too much Chak-Chak here in this topic. Kazan has a long evolved past. What is shown in the Slovo Patsana or World of Boy TV series, that is actually about Kazan, but it was filmed in a different city. We will talk about it later. Would I live here? No, I wouldn't. Kazan is a real eastern city. I lived 20 years in the eastern cities, namely in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, and I have realized one thing, that I don't want to live in such cities with such type of very eastern culture. No. But it might appeal to someone else. Let's move to the tier 3. Top 1, Kaliningrad. Actually, this city has a population just under 500,000, but it's more appropriate to place this city in this category rather than tier 4. The only region that wasn't originally Russian, but was part of Germany. To be exactly East Prussia, and the city was known as Königsberg. And came under the control of RSFSR, or Russian Soviet Socialist Republic, in 1946, after Second World War. The city has 3 architectural styles: Gothic, German architecture, that part of the city that British Army couldn't destroy during the Second World War. Soviet architecture, and modern Russian architecture built after 1991. The city has a mild climate, much gentler than central Russia or Siberia. Smooth roads, no tacky flower beds made of tires, or maybe I just didn't see them. Plenty of cool museums, like the Museum of World Ocean, and other. We can name many of them. Geographically, it's close to Europe for those who need it. Access to the Baltic Sea and numerous coastal resorts. The cons: logistical remoteness from the mainland Russia. And Kaliningrad is actually an exclave of Russia in Europe, and it is surrounded by Lithuania and Poland. Would I live in Kaliningrad? Absolutely. Top 2, Yaroslavl. Yaroslavl 1, love. I live here. I even wrote in my Telegram channel a huge post about it. You can move to the description and find the links to read this article. The capital of Golden Ring of Russia, with endless architectural monuments from Tsar Russia, from the old income generating houses, I don't know how to say it appropriately in English, all over to the first Russian theater named after Volkov. Additionally, Stalin-era architecture from the USSR blends into this ensemble. The Svoboda Street alone worth a lot. The city is constantly developing, and it's nice to see the park being reconstructed and new facilities being built. Tons of restaurants to visit: Russian, European cuisine, burger joints, and more. I've just grabbed some coffee for myself, and take a look at this cute llama that I have on my cup of coffee. Let's continue. The cons in the city is the quality of roads. Well, the central roads are okay, but some roads, on the outskirts, are not in the best condition as it could be. And another thing is the tire flower beds. If you want to learn more about Yaroslavl, really go and check my blog post on Telegram. Would I live here? I already live here, come on! Top 3 is Kirov, a city on the Vyatka river, well known for its craft tradition, primarily Dymkovo toys. When I arrived to Kirov, the first thing that surprised me was the abundance of new buildings, hinting that life is thriving in the city. Not surprising, given its position on the road to Perm, Yekaterinburg, etc., it's obvious that the city would be developing. Overall, it is a modern center of the oblast with developed infrastructure, blending historical architecture with contemporary residential areas. What I love the most in the city is the interactive museums. For example, the Museum of Ice Cream and the Museum of Chocolate. I would describe this city in 3 words: just a good city. The cons: remoteness from the central hubs, meaning Moscow and Saint Petersburg and overall central Russia. We are coming to tier number 4, the number of inhabitants, 200k to 500k, and top 1, Petrozavodsk, the capital of Karelia, a city on the shores of Lake Onega with a population of 200,000. A simple but cozy city that basically has all the necessary infrastructure and conveniences. The main advantage is the proximity to Karelia's natural treasures. Ruskiala Park, Kizhi, Valam, Ladga, Skeris, the resort town Sortavala, and more. Would I live in Petrozavodsk? No. Cons: not much to do in the city itself, few attractions, and very tough climate. Vologda, my favorite city as the tourist. What I love most about the city is the unique vibe and authentic atmosphere with the distinctive two-story wooden houses. In Vologda you can enrich yourself culturally by visiting the local Kremlin, Peter the Great's house, where the emperor stayed on the way to Arkhangelsk, ancient churches, and enjoy the white nights on the banks of Vologda river. Cons: many buildings are in disrepair condition and the tough northern climate. Would I live here? Yes, I would. Top 3, Kostroma, a city in the golden ring of Russia where the Romanov dynasty history began. The city is famous for its architecture, including wooden buildings, the old trading roads, elegant churches, and amazing views of Volga River. Would I live here? No. Honestly speaking, I didn't notice. Top 4, Tver, the city where I began the history of my Telegram channel. A city where I traveled in the extreme minus 26 degrees. I remember the blackout in the extreme cold and how the hotel windows were covered with the ice. But overall, I guess it's a nice city. The places to visit is the Imperial Way Palace, built for Empress Catherine II, is a must. It is also worth noting the city's logistical proximity to both Moscow and Saint Petersburg. And also in the city was born and raised Mikhail Kruk, famous Russian performer of chanson. Cons: didn't really notice much while traveling there at minus 26. Would I live in Tver? I guess no. Top 5, Vladimir. You know, after visiting more than a dozen cities in Russia, a city like Vladimir doesn't impress me so much because it looks like many others. And I understand that Vladimir is the part of gold ring of Russia and it has many unique buildings such as White Stone, Vladimir Kremlin, the Golden Gates, and the nearby is Suzdal city. But I can't say that Vladimir left a strong impression on me. There is also an interesting attraction in the city is some Highland British guy who lives in provincial Russia, and he moved to Vladimir. It was my pleasure to absolutely accidentally meet him in the center of Vladimir and to have conversation with Sam. Sam, hi. I know that you read my stories on Telegram, and if you see this video, I wish you all the best, especially in terms of making the content. Cons, didn't really notice any major ones. Would I live in Vladimir? No. Also known as the city of brides, and actually I wrote a post about Anva. If you want to know more about the city of brides, you can go and read it, and also I have a separate video about this city. Well, the city is interesting because it has the textile factories dating back to the Tsarist era, but it does not really have a well-developed center of the city or any remarkable architecture ensembles except the ship-shaped house. Ivanovo reminds me of a city full of textile industry, museums and cool restaurant. But one thing I would like to admit is the railway station of Ivanovo. It is really amazing. It's a nice place, and I didn't really expect that when I came to Ivanovo railway station it will be so cool and nice. Would I live in Ivanovo? No. And last but not least, number 7 city in tier number 4, Arkhangelsk. How I absolutely love this city. It is my second favorite city as the tourist, of course. A city with more history than Saint Petersburg. A city that is really cradle of Russian fleet and the destination of Lend-Lease program, while Leningrad was under a city with its own authentic cuisine, like cod soup, which is unique and not found in many other cities. It's where the northern Dvina river flows into White Sea and the point where Arctic begins. I have many videos about Arkhangelsk, and long-time followers of this channel know how I feel about Arctic. Unfortunately, I have to place Arkhangelsk in the last position in the tier number 4 for objective reasons. Unfortunately, about a third of the whole city consists from 2-story wooden houses. New houses are being built, but it takes time to build them, and in Arctic it's very hard to build anything. And also because it's tough near Arctic climate. But you should know how really I want to return to Arkhangelsk. Would I live in Arkhangelsk? I don't know. I don't really know. People in Arkhangelsk are very sociable, completely debunking the stereotypes of grumpy northern people. And I could endlessly praise Arkhangelsk. Tier 5. The cities with 100 to 200k of inhabitants. So top 1, Rybinsk, a beautiful city in Yaroslavl region on the coast of Rybinsk water reservoir. The city's hallmark is the signs in the center of the city, styled as the fonts of Tsar time Russia. The city has a motor which supports a decent local economy. Rybinsk is a calm city with about 170k of inhabitants, and it has a lot to offer. A beautiful city center and a lovely embankment of Volga river. In the summer you can chill nearby the reservoir, But like most small cities, Rybinsk doesn't have really something like bustling vibe. So I think it is a great place where you would spend your old age peacefully. Cons: some courtyards are untidy and the tough climate. Would I live in Rybinsk? Maybe in old age, but not now. Top 2. Sergiev Posad, a city of the Golden Ring of Russia. Its main jewel is the Trinity Sergius Lavra, which is listed in UNESCO World Heritage. And this lavra possesses the world's second largest bell. The first one is in Myanmar. The city is surrounded by nature, which makes walks inside the city especially enjoyable, whether along the ponds or down cozy streets. A huge plus is the proximity to Moscow. Cons: not noted. Would I live in Sergiev Posad? Most likely yes. Tier number 6. No one here, because I haven't visited cities with this number of inhabitants. The last tier, up to 50,000 inhabitants. We are coming to our last tier, and I'm about to finish my cup of coffee. Top 1. Zelenogradsk, a resort city in Kaliningrad on the Baltic Sea. During the German era, it was known as Kranz. Famous for its cat theme with museums and sculptures. The town attracts tourists with its relaxed resort atmosphere, white beaches and fresh sea air. For me, it's a perfect place for remote workers who love small towns nearby the coast. There is all necessary infrastructure, the climate is very mild, and there is plenty of opportunities for swimming. When I told a Kaliningrad resident that I want to swim in Baltic Sea, he replied, "Are you a walrus?" But the people of Kaliningrad probably don't understand that for residents of central Russia, swimming in quite cold water during the temperature of the air about 20-25 degrees is quite usual, and refreshing. Didn't notice much cons there. Would I live here? Definitely yes. Top 2. Sortavala, resort town in Republic of Karelia on Lake Vologda. Sortavala attracts people with its granite cliffs, lakes, and postcard-like views. In the summer, it's green and beautiful, sometimes even warm. Cons: harsh climate and poor service. In fact, when it comes to Karelia, the service is lacking not only in Sortavala. I have written an article about that. The link will be below. But overall, the service is poor throughout Karelia. Tourism inside Russia, inside different regions of Russia, became really developing only in 2022. It takes time for the service to improve, and for now, service in most places in Karelia just a little bit better than the service in rural areas. Would I live in Sortavala? No, I would not. Top 3. Uglich, Yaroslavl region, part of Golden Ring of Russia, and one of the most atmospheric places for history lovers. This city on the Volga River is known for its ancient churches and electricity museum. The hydroelectric museum is a unique place about the history of hydroelectric power. Would I live here? No. Petrozavodsk, Yaroslavl region, another golden ring city located on the shores of Lake Plesheva. You will find not only ancient monasteries but also unusual museums like the Teapot Museum or Railway Museum. And now we are coming to the last city in the entire ranking, Rostov Veliky. You know, we had total 7 tiers, and I would place Rostov Veliky last place, not only inside the last tier, but overall among all the city. Yes, I would place it on the last place in this ranking, in total ranking. Yes, there is Rostov Kremlin in the city, and it is very beautiful. And very famous Russian film Ivan Vasilievich Changes the Profession was filmed Rostov Veliky in this Kremlin. And the city also has a beautiful center, and that's why this city of Yaroslavl region is included into the Golden Ring. Yeah, again the Golden Ring and again Yaroslavl Oblast. It's just a combo. But if you walk a little bit away from the center, you will be surprised how poorly are maintained the city. The streets is overgrown with the grass, many dilapidated buildings. The shore of Lake Nero is covered with something not beautiful. I was there in 2023 and I hope the situation is improving. Would I live in Rostov Veliky? Never. That's all. We covered all the cities along all the tiers except Moscow and Saint Petersburg. Don't forget to subscribe to all my channels. Write in the comments which city you like, which city you don't like the most, and which city you would like to move, and which one. If you like this video, press like. If you don't like this video, press like, and don't forget to subscribe. It was Rodion and the World. Thanks for watching, and bye.